Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Ohio.
The Indians got a special effort from Scott Kazmir last night, who shut out his former franchise behind 12 strikeouts. Another Special K takes the mound for the Tribe tonight as Corey Kluber will pitch for the first time since August 5th. The Indians will try to gain more ground in the wild card in grand style next on Sports Time Ohio. From Progressive Field in downtown Cleveland, it's Indians baseball tonight. The Tribe looks to keep their momentum rolling forward as they take on the New York Mets. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Tribe has won 3 straight, 4 of their last 5, and they'll turn to Corey Kluber tonight, who hasn't pitched in a month. And his last win came back in July against the Kansas City Royals.
And what a start it was in his last start against the Tigers. When he hurt his finger, he was on a roll. And the good thing about Kluber, it seems like we've watched him grow this year. He seems to get better and better every start. I mean, he was working with all his pitches. He did hurt it on a curveball. So same thing as McAllister. Let's hope he comes back. We don't know how long he's going to pitch tonight, but hopefully he can be effective again. We'll be matched up against Jonathan Neese, the left-hander. He's 3-0 since the All-Star break, 6-6 on the season.
Corey Kluber has pitched well at home this year. The Indians have won 6 of his last 7 home starts. We'll see if the Tribe can get in the win column once again here tonight against the New York Mets. Kluber back in the rotation. That is a sight for sore eyes. He's pitched so well this year. Let's see if the bats can give him some support. The play-by-play is next. And we welcome you into Progressive Field for tonight's game between the Tribe and the New York Mets. Indians have taken the field behind Corey Kluber, who makes his return to the mound. almost 1 month to the day. August 5th, his last start. Today's September the 7th. And the Indians begin play just 2 games back in the wild card race now, as Tampa Bay lost again last night out in Seattle. So the Indians keeping the heat on as they continue to play well. They've won 4 of their last 5. Let's take a look at Terry Collins' starting lineup for the Mets tonight. Eric Young Jr., the leadoff man, followed by Daniel Murphy. Zach Lutz will DH and bat third. Lucas Duda hitting cleanup. Jacob Turner, who homered last night for the Mets, plating their only run, will bat fifth. Juan Lagares bats sixth. Matt Dendecker in center field, hitting seventh. Travis d'Arnaud will catch and hit eighth. And Omar Quintanilla, the shortstop, will bat ninth.
Well, welcome back, Corey Kluber. He's had a nice year this year, 7-5 and a 3.54 ERA. As you mentioned, Matt, a month ago, he had to leave a start against the Tigers where he pitched a gem. He went 7 1/3, 6 hits, did not allow a run, had 6 strikeouts and only 1 walk. That's where he hurt his finger. He is 2-0 in interleague play this year with a 1.93 ERA, so this will be his 3rd start. Let's hope it's as good as his first 2. Let's set the defense behind Kluber tonight. It looks like this. Rayburn in left, Bourne in center, Stubbs in right. Aviles at third, Cabrera at short, Kipnis is at second, Swisher at first, and Gomes behind the plate.
Jerry Meals will call the balls and strikes this evening. Paul Emmel at first, Chris Conroy at second. The crew chief, Gary Darling, down at third. Ready to go as Eric Young steps in for New York. Terry Francona said, and Corey Kluber during his last side session or sim game, whatever you want to call it, he said he got stronger as that session went on. So doesn't seem to be any worries about, his health, his stamina, where he's at right now, but he hasn't pitched in a month, so they're going to keep him around 75 to 80 pitches tonight.
Well, we'll see if he has that curveball tonight. That's the one that he supposedly hurt the finger on.
Well, I think the command is the one thing you want to be wary of. When you've missed that much time, can you command it? Can you be as sharp as he has been all season long? Swung on and missed. Nothing wrong with a fastball. First 2 have been strikes, and it's 0-2 the count. That one took off a little bit. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ooh, that looked awfully good. That's that reverse sinker or the comeback fastball that looked like it leaked back over the inside corner. Didn't get the call.
I think he felt like he had a good pitch there. Check it out on our Nissan pitch tracker. And that ball did come back. And knowing him like we do, he can make that pitch to left-handers.
Line drive single into center field, so Young gets a second chance. Takes advantage with a leadoff base hit.
Then you go away with a 4-seamer, and he stayed right on it. That comeback fastball was a pretty good pitch.
Let's go downstairs to Katie Withen, who has more on Corey Kluber making his return to the rotation tonight.
Well, Matt, you and Rick mentioned the question tonight is whether or not Corey Kluber will be able to command his curveball. That curveball is Kluber's go-to pitch. He told me when he needs a strikeout or a mishit, that's the one he goes to. Now, he's only been able to throw it for the last week. That's 3 side sessions. But he said to get a good feel for that and to sharpen it back up, not only has he been throwing it in his side sessions, but he's also been throwing it just while playing catch.
Well, something we'll definitely keep an eye on. All fastballs so far. There's a first pitch heater for a strike to Daniel Murphy.
When McAllister came back, it took him a while to get a feel for it. And he was reluctant to throw it, I think, a lot. We'll see what Kluber does because Kluber's got other pitches. That cutter, I thought, personally, was his go-to pitch. When he needed to throw a strike, I thought he would go with the cutter. But if he says it's a curveball,
Drew Stubbs will make the catch in right field. Murphy retired for out number 1. Our keys to the game brought to you by Akron Children's Hospital. Get Kluber back in the mix. That's obviously very important. It's on everybody's mind as he starts here tonight. And early offense equals success. The Indians continue to play well when they get the early lead. That's something they did last night. And it propelled them to yet another win. They are 55-23 when they score first. Zach Lutz did not play last night. He'll DH and hit third here this evening. You know, the other thing with regards to the curveball, Rick, you wonder, too, if that's the pitch that you originally had the injury on, is there something in the back of your mind that is, are you a little tentative because you don't want to do that again?
When it gets to game action, I bet you will be. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, if you're a player, an everyday player, and you're coming off a hamstring or something, you're a little reluctant to get out there and bust it all the way. You know, you want to ease into it. But baseball's a funny game. When Rayburn came back his first game, what happened? He got a base hit his first time up and had to run hard from home to second, and then the next guy gets a base hit. He's got to go hard at home, so he tested his leg and his Achilles.
Right back up the middle. Kipnis has it. Flips this. Oh, what a job by Cabrera. Double play. Are you kidding me? It looked like Kipnis had flipped it over the head of Cabrera. Somehow he snared it, came down on the bag to get the force, and still turned two. Take a look at Terry Francona's starting lineup for the Indians, brought to you by Progressive, making it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. Michael Bourne will lead it off, scored a couple of runs last night. Nick Swisher, the grand slam, will hit second. Then Jason Kipnis, Carlos Santana, Yan Gomes, and Asdrubal Cabrera in the middle. Then Ryan Rayburn, Mike Aviles, and Drew Stubbs. 7 right-handed bats in there for the Tribe tonight against the left-hander, Jonathan Neese. Fastball in for a strike. One ball, one strike. Fouled right back. Jonathan Neese, an Ohio product. He was drafted by the New York Mets, but he had a scholarship offer to go play collegiately at the University of Cincinnati. But it was a recruiting call from Gary Carter that swayed him and prompted him to wind up signing on the dotted line with the Mets, and why not? He was born on the same day the Mets won the World Series in 1986.
Right?
Yep.
That's a pretty good selling point, huh?
Yeah. It's meant to be, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Big kid. Fastball, pretty good curveball, too. Full count to Michael Bourne.
Well, he beat the Indians here on June 16, 2010. 8-4 game. He pitched 7 innings.
Bourne lines one into center field. It's a base hit. And Michael is aboard to start the ball game tonight for the Indians.
Let's check out the Mets defense behind Nice. It's going to be Young in left. DeKaker is in center. Lagares is in right. Turner at third. Quintanilla is at short. Murphy at second. Duda is at first. D'Arnaud behind the plate. Nice this year in 19 starts, 6-6, 366. He's pitched better in the second half. He's 3-0 with a 214 earned run average, 81 strikeouts in his 110 innings.
Bourne taking off on the first pitch, and he easily has the base stolen. Thought about maybe going to third, but he'll hold right there. His 22nd steal of the year. Now 2 behind Jason Kipnis for the team lead in steals.
Well, Bourne wasted no time. He took off immediately. So he has a track record against Nice.
D'Arnaud's throw, a one-hopper that eluded Murphy. Swisher chops it foul. No balls, 2 strikes. Swisher turned a close game into a rout last night with his grand slam. He said all I was trying to do was get at least one of those guys home, and wound up getting all 4 of them in.
That's the way it happens, man. Sometimes just get your job done and good things happen. I mean, last night you're just looking, okay, sacrifice fly. They did it a couple times, but with that swing right there, that gave him 4 runs. That's the bonus.
Nice delivers, and it's outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ripped to left field. That's a base hit. That'll score Bourne. That'll go all the way to the wall. Bourne comes home. Swisher into second base with an RBI double. His 24th two-bagger. RBI number 51 on the year, and the Indians take a 1-0 lead.
Well, I'll tell you what, he put a nice swing on that ball. Looked like he caught a fastball and just laced it down the left field line. It goes down into the corner. It's going to be on McDonald's. I'm loving it. Again, the Indians are going to score in the first inning at home. They did it last night. Bourne came around to score. He had a single. Swisher had a single. Well, tonight you get a single, a stolen base, and a double, which pays dividends, and the Indians on top 1-0.
Now up comes Jason Kipnis. And he's bunts. Well done. Nice fields it, throws to first. And they didn't get him. He came off the bag. Duda sliding into foul territory, apparently lifted his foot off the bag and never re-engaged. At least that's the call of Paul Emmel at first base. And the Indians have runners at the corners with nobody out, much to the chagrin of Mets manager Terry Collins, who argues in vain. Let's take another look.
A routine play. He doesn't rush anything. Nice does the right thing.
He was never on the bag. Oh,
yeah, he was. His toe came right across the top of it.
Did he?
Yeah, watch his front
foot. He's not
foot.
on the bag.
Watch.
Oh, he did get it.
Are you
Absolutely
kidding me?
Absolutely did.
That's a bad call. Indians catch a break. They call him safe, but he scraped that foot right across the top of the bag. It'll go as an error. It should be error umpire is what it should be, but the Indians catch a break. It's first and third, so it's sacrifice and an error.
The error's on the pitcher? Okay.
Wow, I don't know about that call. Throw was right there.
Yeah, if anybody replay shows his foot was on the bag, but if anybody has to get the error there, it would be the first baseman.
Sure.
Yeah, good second look. He clearly dragged that foot across the bag. But the Indians get the break. Can they take advantage of it now to open the game up early? Santana takes a strike. It's 1-1. Santana last night had a sacrifice fly and an RBI single. Takes another strike here. He's down on the count. He doesn't like the call. Very productive swing of the bat from the right side of the plate with that 301 average. More RBIs, more power from the other side. Foul ball, stayed behind the plate.
Well, he's lucky there. Had to reach for that pitch, and it's an awful long swing. That thing had English on it, rolled backwards.
Low throw to first. A little bit low. So Santana with a 2-2 count. Yan Gomes waiting on deck. He's been swinging the bat well. Santana just spoiling it to stay alive. Last night, the Indians got a sac fly from Santana to take a 1-0 lead in the first. And another sac fly in the second inning from Michael Bourne to make it a 2-0 lead.
Well, he's staying alive. He's falling off some pretty good pitches.
And Nice has already fired 20 pitches without recording an out. Though he should have one. Bloop toward right center field, dropping. It's down. An RBI single for Carlos Santana as Swisher scores, and Kipnis, who got a great read on the ball, able to get the second base 2-0 Tribe. RBI number 63 for Santana.
Well, so far in this first inning, everything going the Tribe's way. And he put up an at-bat. He battled, he put one in play, and it falls. So Swisher able to score. Kipnis gets the second. Santana drives in his 63rd. It's a 2-0 Indians lead. And still nobody out in the inning.
Yan Gomes steps in. Gomes has hit in 6 straight games. 9 hits in his last 22 at bats. And during that time, he's driven in 5 runs as well. Upstairs with it. 1 ball, 1 strike. There are Gomes' numbers during his hitting streak. He had a 7-game hitting streak earlier this year, back in May. That's his career best, looking to equal that with a hit at some point here tonight. 1-1 pitch, there it is.
Boy, oh boy, that's a pretty swing.
Coming around third, stop sign for Kipnis. It was a 1-hop seed to Lagares, the right fielder. And the bases are loaded, still nobody out.
Yeah, you can't send anybody there, but boy, I want to take another look at that swing. That was really nice swing where he stayed on it. Look at the crouch. He gets that breaking ball away and let it track deep into the zone. And just, it's down. He loves the ball down. And he put a really good swing on that for a base hit to right. Now the Indians with 4 hits in this inning. Gomes has a 7-game hitting streak.
And now they got to get Asdrubal Cabrera going.
Yes.
0 for his last 16. But he steps in here with the bases loaded and nobody out. Dan Warthen, the pitching coach, obviously concerned as Nice is about to make his 25th pitch of the first inning. Fouled right back out of play. What's really striking about Cabrera's year is the fact that he's hit 278 on the road and just 194 here at home. Takes a strike, it's 0-2. The difference amounts to 15 hits. He's had 15 more hits on the road than he has had at home, and therein lies the difference in the batting average. Popped in the air, right field, probably not deep enough.
No.
Lagares makes the catch.
No,
and
he
Kipnis has to hold.
He has 12 assists out there in right field, so you're not going to test him there. That's the first out in the inning.
Cabrera's woes continue, and up comes Ryan Rayburn as Nice gets his first out of the inning. It brings up Ryan Rayburn, who all season long has been a very productive hitter. Rayburn 2 for 5 on the year with the bases loaded. Takes it outside.
A couple of more would be beautiful here.
Low and away, 2 balls, no strikes. In his career, he's notched 3 grand slams on his belt. Takes a strike. Ripped into right field. That's a base hit. That'll go to the alley. All the way to the wall. Kipnis scores. Santana scores. Here comes Gomes. The throw goes to third. It's a 3-run double for Ryan Rayburn and a 5-0 Indians lead in the first.
Boy, oh boy, I'll tell you what. When Gomes and Rayburn play, the Indians score. It's plain and simple. He puts a nice swing to go to right center field, and it gets by. It splits the outfielders, and it gets all the way to the wall. And they turn. Instead of throwing home, they threw to third base. I don't know if they would have really had a chance to get Gomes, but they certainly had a much better chance because Rayburn wasn't going anywhere. Murphy went right to third base. So you give Rayburn 3 RBIs, and it's a 5-run first inning.
8th game of the year with 3 runs batted in for Ryan Rayburn. Tied for the most on the team, and this is a guy who doesn't play every day. And not to mention he spent
He's had
chunk
some
of time on the DL.
Yeah, he's had a very productive year when you look at his numbers all the way around.
It's his 199th at bat of the year.
And his 46th RBI.
Off the glove, but Rayburn holds at second.
15 homers and 46 ribbies and 200 at bats. That's getting it done.
Mike Aviles takes up and away, 2-0. Corey Kluber.
He's the beneficiary. He's got to love it.
Avila's taking. It's in for a strike, 2-1. Still only one out in the inning as Nice is about to make his 35th pitch here in the first. A one-hop smash off the glove of Murphy. He recovers and pulled him off the bag. Rayburn to third. Aviles aboard. We'll see how they score it. It was a hot smash. Still, I think it's got to be.
They gave him a hit.
Okay. I thought once he recovered, he had plenty of time to make a good throw.
I agree. I mean, the ball's right there. It is. It's not hit normally. It has a little hair on it, but the throw wildly pulls him off. He had to go down for it. It's a one-hopper. He's going to play it off to the side. It hits off his glove, and that's where the mistake was. If he makes the catch, he's out easily. But
no doubt it was hit hard. Now the Indians with a chance to continue to take advantage. First and third, still only one out. Drew Stubbs, the ninth man to bat in the inning, and that's fouled on the right side. Bullpen activity for New York. Jonathan Nice came into this game with a 3-0 mark and a 2.14 ERA since he came off the DL on August the 11th. But the Indians have teed off on him in this first inning. And they've taken advantage of a couple of mistakes, one by the umpire, now one by the Mets themselves. Scott Atchison, the former Red Sox, getting loose. Two and one to count. Line to first, double play, ends the inning. Tribe sends 9 men to the plate here in the first inning. They score 5 and take the big early lead. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by McDonald's, now introducing 3 exciting new Quarter Pounders, and by Kia. Five-0 Indians, second inning. And for New York, Lucas Duda, Jacob Turner, Juan Lagares will be coming up. Corey Kluber got a double play to get out of the first inning, but it only took him 9 pitches. His counterpart needed 39 pitches before the double play finally rescued John Neese. Out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Duda is a big guy at 6'4", 250 pounds. Breaking ball and a good one. Is that the first curve he's thrown?
I don't know if that was a curve. That might have been a cutter at around 90. It's 89, so that might have been the cutter. And then he also has the slider.
That's a lock-em-up fastball right there. First K for Kluber, 1 down in the second.
Watch the movement on this pitch coming back. He threw one earlier. He didn't get the call. This one has more of the plate, though. He started a little more on the inside part and it runs over the middle of the plate. Now that umpire has a feel for it. And, you know, when you go out there as a catcher, you got to tell him, hey, stay with this little two-seam fastball we're going to throw inside. You'll see it comes back over the plate just to give him a little heads up maybe.
Justin Turner takes a strike. A little bit outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Painted the outside corner with that fastball, and it's 1-2. Justin Turner was originally a 7th-round pick of the Cincinnati Reds back in 2006. After the 2008 season, he was traded to Baltimore in the Ramon Hernandez deal. Flips that one into center field. At 83, that was probably a breaking ball.
Yes, it was.
Stat of the game brought to you by your Northern Ohio Buick dealers. In his 6 starts before he went on the DL, the shame of it was he only had 1 decision.
Right.
Despite a 198 earned run average. Now, the Indians were winning a lot of those games.
Most of them, up until his last start here. They had won 5 straight starts that he had pitched here when he has a quality start. And I'll tell you what, it seems like he hasn't missed a beat. I mean, because the control's there. He's locating his fastball. It seems like he's been throwing all of his pitches. Haven't really seen the changeup yet.
Juan Lagares has hit in a career-best 11 straight games. And he's collected 16 hits during his 11-game streak. He's 1 shy of David Wright's season high for the Mets. Little tapper. Kluber jumps
Just
on it.
1.
2 down. Turner goes to second base. Our AT&T U-verse rewind. Let's go back to the first inning. 1 on, 1 out. What happens here?
Well, Kipnis tried it. When he went to flip it, it got caught in the webbing of his glove. But Cabrera made a nice play to come up, and watch, he comes down on the bag, that toe. Hits second base. He gets it off. Nice play by Cabrera. He helped out Kipnis there.
Very nicely done. 2 down for Matt Den Decker. Swing and a miss. One ball, one strike. Den Decker was a 5th-round pick 3 years ago out of Florida. All SEC selection for the Gators as a sophomore and a senior. Two balls and a strike. Kluber checks the runner, the 2-1. Fouled right back. Two balls and two strikes. Terry Francona's club out to the early 5-0 lead here tonight. Missed inside. Payoff pitch. In the air to center field, it will drop in front of Bourne. They're going to wave the runner around third. Turner coming home. Here's the throw. Not in time. Swisher couldn't get there to cut it off. I think he wanted to. But Bourne's throw was on the third base side of the mound, and Swisher just couldn't get to it. So Den Decker with the RBI single. He goes to second on the throw, and the Mets are on the board.
Well, it goes with the full count. It goes with his cutter. That, to me, it was his bread and butter. When he needs a strike, that's what he goes to. And he lines it right into center field. He left that ball middle of the plate. Bourne comes in on the one hopper. It's a little offline, so on the throw, Den Decker gets into scoring position. He moves to second base. So the Mets answer. They are on the board. It's a 5-1 game.
Travis d'Arnaud, the Mets catcher, 0 for 3 last night. Belt high fastball for strike one. Inside, spun him out of the way. d'Arnaud's been involved in a couple of big trades already in his young career. After the 2009 season, Toronto traded Roy Halladay to the Phillies. They got in exchange Kyle Drabick, Michael Taylor, and Travis d'Arnaud. And the Jays sent him to the Mets along with John Buck for R.A. Dickey. Swing and a miss. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Full count. The payoff pitch. Little tapper, it stays fair. And the inning is over. Mets get on the board on the 2-out RBI single by Matt Den Decker. 5-1 Cleveland, middle of the second.
The video game that puts you in the owner's suite is now available free on iPhone and iPad. You can build your stadium and make the decisions to guide your team to the World Series. Download MLB Ballpark Empire free today.
Michael Bourne singled, stole a base, and scored in the first for the Indians. And John Neese with a fastball for strike one. There are a lot of oddball things that happen in the game of baseball. But I don't know that I've ever heard a story quite like the one involving John Neese and his former teammate Carlos Beltran. Beltran didn't like his nose, and he used to get on Neese about it, and eventually he offered to pay for him to get a nose job, as Bourne pops it up straight up on the infield. So Neese accepted the offer, went to the doctors, got some consultations, and eventually had the surgery, rhinoplasty, nose job, and he said that the best thing that he didn't think about was that it improved his breathing. It actually helped him when it came to working out, when he would do a lot of cardio, because he was able to breathe a lot better.
Yeah, good for him. And Beltran paid for it.
He offered to pay for it. I don't know for sure if he ever ponied up.
Oh, boy.
As of 2012, he had not. And now he's gone to another team, so he might have a tough time tracking him down.
Let's track him down, see if he's ever faced Beltran this year. And if he's drilled him a couple of times, maybe we'll know.
Pitch down low. 2 balls, no strikes. Call to strike outside corner. There's a long drive to deep left field. Nick Swisher has left the yard onto the home run porch. Swisher's 17th home run of the year. makes it 6-1 Cleveland. No doubt about it, shot to deep left field.
I'll tell you what, after that grand slam last night, the double today, and now this home run, that's giving him some life.
You know, Terry Francona said he thought the grand slam would help him relax a little bit. He said, I think he's been trying to do too much. He's been trying to hit too many home runs, and he said maybe that will just get him to relax a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's relaxed. He got a nice pitch to hit, but he did something with it. Look at the nice swing. That one gets on the home run porch, so he's had a grand slam, a double, an RBI double, and a solo shot in his last 3 at-bats. So I think he's relaxed. That's number 17 for Swish.
Up the middle, the second baseman Murphy throws out Kipnis. 2 down here in the second inning. Hey, I did a quick check. Beltran did pay up.
Oh, okay.
The original story I had, he had not paid as of when that story was written, but Beltran did.
Oh, good.
He did pay up for John Neese's nose job. I mean, have you ever heard anything crazy like that?
Well, you know, when you get around baseball players, they spend so much time together. You're like brothers. It's family. It's a nice brother right there, paying for my nose job.
A little bit inside. Chopped to short. Quintanilla waits back on it and throws him out. But Nick Swisher continues to swing a big bat for the Tribe. It's now 6-1 Cleveland. The Indians lead it as we go now to the third inning. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you, joined now by former Indians pitcher Chad Ojay in town this weekend as far as the Indians alumni ambassador program. And I know it's always fun for you to come back. How about this time, though, you come back and Jarrett Wright's here with you. Have you guys had a chance to reminisce?
Yeah, we got a good chance to talk, and I was really surprised whenever he told me, he goes, I got 4 kids.
Yeah, I saw him down there yesterday. Yeah. You know, his wife was holding one in the front pack. There was 3 others sitting down there when he went out to throw out the first pitch. I said, boy, he got busy after he got out of here, didn't he?
Yes, he did. And he looks like he can still play, too.
I know, he looked really good.
Does a lot of surfing and
well, in California, they do that. Yeah. We don't do that down south, do we?
get the alligators in there.
Yeah, I know. You got to wrestle them.
What's new with you? What's been keeping you busy?
Same old, same old. I've been in Baton Rouge, and it's been hot. This is a nice little reprieve with the weather. And I've been doing landscaping and digging some holes here and there, pointing and telling them what to do.
Yeah, that's always nice to get back here, isn't it, during the baseball season?
Oh, it always is, yeah.
Do you have a chance to follow the Tribe during the course of the year?
Yeah, a little bit. I played for Terry in Philadelphia when I left here in '99, and, man, when I saw he came here, I knew it was going to be a big difference.
Yeah.
So. What did you notice about him back then when he was really just starting out as a manager?
He hadn't changed much. He's probably gotten wiser, obviously, and he's got more experience, but he's the same guy he was back in 1999, and that's what, that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing when a guy is the same all the time. The players love playing with him. He's one of those managers he had your back at all times.
Well, if you can survive the media in Philadelphia and you go to Boston, he survived it there for, 7 years?
Right.
You got to be a better man for it
yes,
there.
He definitely has some thick skin.
Now, Philadelphia, I've always heard, we've been there for a couple of series, but never spent any extended time there. Everybody always says it's a different world. The fans, the sports media. What are your recollections of that time in Philly?
You want to know the truth? Or
yeah.
You want to make something up?
No, we want the unbiased truth, Chad O.J. style.
Well, hopefully there aren't any Philly fans listening, but this was the penthouse, and then I went to the outhouse. So Philly, the fans are passionate there, but it's almost like they would get off of work and come there to take their frustrations out on the ball team.
Yeah.
And that was a big change, big difference. But they are passionate. They are knowledgeable. And at the end of the year, I would put my jacket on and go to the bullpen and hide. And they still knew who I was, and they were still yelling at me. But, no, it wasn't a bad place to play. It was just, the stadium was old.
The old Veteran Stadium, yeah.
Well, that was the tough place.
The tough place to play. The fans, not a lot of fans there. It's tough to play when, you go from 40,000 to 5,000. It's a big difference.
Well, you see, you were spoiled here because you were here through the good years, and then you go over there, and they were in their lean years.
Yes.
And, in that town, if you don't win, they have a new ballpark now. They're sold out a lot of the times, and they put together. They've won the World Series under Charlie. So,
right.
Now it's a fun place to go, at least and play there.
Yes.
And I would imagine it's a little bit better to play there.
It's much different playing there now. I hated to see Charlie go, but I guess it ran its course. And
as baseball does. I mean, when you spend time in it, you can last so long, and then it's time to move on,
The game tells you when you got to move on.
No doubt.
Here's some of Chad's numbers. Obviously, the 1997 World Series, 2-0, 154 ERA. One of 3 pitchers in Indians history with 2 or more wins in a World Series. And we can't forget
the hits.
The ribbies.
Oh, sure, as pitchers. We had a chance to go to Miami and play a 3-game series here not too long ago. And they were sort of celebrating their 2003 World Series, right?
Right.
When we were down there for the 10 years. But, you go back to 97. That's it flies by, doesn't it,
It does
Chad?
fly by. My kids now are 11 and 14, and it's where'd the time go?
I know. You sit back here and you think of the glory days in the 90s when everything, 2 World Series, 95 and 97, and now you turn around and it happens quickly.
Yes, it does.
But we still have the memories. The people here still have the memories, and it's always nice to come and relive them, isn't it?
Yep. I have a guy that works for me that's 73 years old, and that's what he tells me every day is all we've got is our memories.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's true.
Nobody can take those from you.
No, but they were some good ones, that's for sure.
When you're in the middle of it and you're going through it and you're pitching in those World Series games and you're playing in those games, it's hard to sit back and reflect on it. Now that you've had time, when you allow yourself time to jog your memory and think back, what comes to mind first?
The camaraderie between the guys, I think that's the biggest thing. The guys I played with. When you're going through it, you don't realize it until afterwards. You look back and you go, wow. I was sitting, my daughter is playing fast pitch softball now, and I come home one night and they broke out the 1997 tape, and they're watching it, and I'm like, oh, okay.
It's neat to see.
It was neat to see, and I actually sat down and watched it, which I'd never really had a chance to do, and I was like, man, that was cool. And that, you just don't realize it when you're doing it.
We'll continue on with Chad O.J. right after this brief break. The Indians on top 6-1. Progressive Field, 6-1, Tribe on top. Going to the bottom of the third, it will be Yan Gomes as Dribble Cabrera and Ryan Rayburn do up. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you as always. We're visiting with Indians pitcher Chad Ojay, who is in town for the Indians Alumni Ambassador Program, having fun visiting with the fans. And that part of it probably never gets old, because I'm sure when you're down in Louisiana, there are people who know who you are and know you pitch in the big leagues, but probably don't have people lining up for your autograph.
No, not down there. You know, if you played at LSU, you're a big deal there. But they have no they have no clue what you did afterwards. Only a few people do. But, you know, it's nice to get back here. It is nice to be recognized. It's nice to be seen. You know, as you get older, you really start to appreciate those things, and you understand that the fans are the reason why you're on the field, and you know they help pay your salary.
Well,
you understand that.
The fun part of it is we get to, it's like a high school reunion.
Yes.
Like when we have fantasy camp, you get back and you get different generations. You get to see guys and reminisce about everybody. That's the fun thing when you do fantasy
I love
camp.
that part.
And at least when you come back and you see some other guys that you played with, you can go back in your own mind and have some fun.
Yeah, baseball is one of those unique sports where it's a small community, and you know people, you run into people all the time, and you know, like I got to visit with Sandy earlier, you know, playing with him, and you know, Sal down there. You know, it was awesome. You know, getting to see those guys, getting to see the clubhouse guys, Marty and Tony.
Yeah.
And
what they do to you? They have anything set up for you?
No, they didn't have anything set up.
I mean, you sure not? You better check all your luggage.
No.
They'll do something to you, I guarantee it.
Those guys have more
how
power
about
than anybody.
Tony getting married this year in the off season? How about that?
How's that going to work?
Well,
did you just announce that on the network here?
Well, we're going to have to send you home and see if you get the same invitation I get.
I think those guys might have more power than anybody in the.
They very well could.
Yes.
Indirectly, yes.
Yes, there's something else.
Tony doesn't watch TV. He listens to radio.
Yeah. You know, what's funny is those guys were basically college-age teenagers whenever I was here, and now they're running the place.
Well.
Who'd they pay off?
What was the biggest adjustment that you had to make when your playing career was over? You know, adjusting to civilian life, as we say.
It's tough. It's a lot tougher than people would understand. You got to keep yourself busy. I was very fortunate in the fact that the day I retired, I enrolled in school. And I went back to school for 4 years, and that kept me busy. But there were days where it was just like, okay, well, what am I going to do? Because you were so regimented coming to the park at the same time and doing this on the same time. But that's, you know, it took me probably about a good 3-4 years to adjust back into a different lifestyle. And, you know, I kept myself busy, which was the biggest thing. And now that I own a business, those things have helped me, you know, the baseball part of it and understanding you got to be here on time, you got to do this, you got to do things right. That's really helped me out. And, you know, I learned a lot of life lessons, I guess.
I think the biggest thing, too, is when you get out is accept the fact that you're done with baseball.
Yes.
There's no longer somebody there to say, hey, you need to be here, you got to go here. You have to do it on your own because no one's going to do it for you.
Exactly.
It's Dribble Cabrera, and that's the way it's going for him right now.
Absolutely. That's the way, the story of his year, as a matter of fact. And let me tell you, it can happen, and it can stay. When he hits the ball on the nose, if it deflects off a glove, it goes to another defender. When you hit the ball down the line, instead of it being 2 inches fair, it's about 4 or 5 inches foul.
Game of inches.
Yeah, it really is. And this year, it's been the game of inches against Cabrera. So you just have to battle and hang in there and do the best you can, which he has, but it's a frustrating thing to do.
That's like when you don't get those pitches that.
Now we saw one play at first base, but when you're out there pitching, you get a guy struck out.
Right.
You make a pitch, strike three, and he says ball, and that guy gets an extra strike. You've got to gather yourself out there as a pitcher. How do you do that?
You have to. You have to step back and you have to recollect your thoughts because it's a shocker. You know you got the guy struck out.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden now I got to throw the guy another pitch. And if you think about it, you're going to hang that sucker up there.
And then let's say he comes back on the next pitch and gets a base hit. We saw it in the with Kluber in the first inning.
That happens, and that's you gotta have a short memory, short-term memory, real quick.
Or you don't have a short fuse, or you wouldn't be in the game long.
Anybody ever run you from a game?
I never got run from a game. I wasn't much on.
You were laid back, though.
I was laid back. I wasn't much on. I wasn't much on doing, hollering at anybody or saying anything. Just keep my mouth shut and pitch.
Stay in your own little world. And
right.
Well, when you guys were in that World Series in '97, your mindset probably is, okay, we're here. Devastating that you didn't win, but you're probably thinking, I'll be back.
Yeah, I really thought we were going to be back the next year, and it just didn't happen in '98. And Baltimore had gotten hot that year, knocked us out of the playoffs, and it was over with. The run was over with, and I got traded after that year, and I was like,
it wasn't the same.
It wasn't the same.
Right.
Never was the same.
I mean, you're drafted by the Angels. I was trying to tell Matt, hopefully, I know there's 2 outs. Tell him what it feels like when you're traded for the first time from the team that drafted you.
It's tough. It's tough because, you know everybody in the organization. I was in the organization from 92 to 98. And, that's tough when you go from your first team to another one. Now, when you get released from the next one, it's not that big a deal, but that's a tough situation because it's like home for you.
Well, we'll never release you.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate that.
Although we will release you from your duties here tonight.
All right. Thanks,
you
guys.
You can go back and say hi to everybody. Thanks, Chad.
Thank you.
Right there.
You can do whatever you want. You can talk back or you can cough.
Welcome back here to Progressive Field. Tribe on top 6-1 as we go to the 4th inning. Lucas Duda, Justin Turner, and Juan Lagares will bat for the Mets. Corey Kluber on the hill. We're joined by former Indians pitcher Jarrett Wright. Great to have you back. How you doing?
Thank you. It's been amazing. This is great up here. Super.
You came in from L.A., where you
Southern
live,
Cal,
right?
yeah,
Southern
San Clemente.
Cal.
Yeah, I put my surfboard up, and I said I'm going to come out here. I'm going to bring the family out here and race
you.
heck for a little bit.
So you had to charter a whole plane, man. You got 4 kids now?
Yeah, I got 4 beautiful kids, like I told Tom, that listen all the time. They don't do anything wrong.
Are you sure?
No, I'm
just
not
like
sure.
you were when you were a kid?
Well, we saw your 2 boys down on the field, and I said they look just like Jarrett. They're running into each other. They're hitting each other.
I told them we were at the hotel. I'm like, hey, we're going to go watch BP over there. It's going to be awesome. Guys are going to be hitting homers. So, like, after 5 minutes, they're up there wrestling on the thing, and I'm like, okay, they're over it. There's not a whole lot I can do here. But I always listened. I never bucked the system. I never did anything, right?
Boy.
That's true. Like father, like son, you'll see.
Yeah.
You'll find out the hard way.
I figure if people know my dad, Clyde, I think I turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
What's keeping you busy these days?
So
obviously the kids,
yeah,
the family.
kids, and we're coaching little league teams and flag football teams, and just enjoying being a dad. I'm really loving it. I got the 2 older boys, and I got 2 little girls that, just melt me. I love it.
Duda tried to check his swing, but he went too far. He strikes out for the 2nd time tonight. 1 down here in the 4th inning.
Well, you look like you're in great shape and you're having fun, and you look good. It's been a long time since I've seen you.
And I've had a bunch of people tell me, I mean, usually at home just hanging out, taking the kids, I don't get dated very much. You're just kind of a dad hanging out. But now I got, I wasn't even born when you played, and I had a crush on you when I was 11, and it's just, now I'm a little bit dated, but it's amazing to be back.
This is your first time back here in a while?
So I played with Baltimore. I came here and pitched here in 2007, and then hurt my shoulder again, and that was
in this park.
Yeah.
Did you really?
And that was my last game.
Wow. Because this was where you pitched your first game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The big leagues, yeah.
Yeah, we played Minnesota here.
Yeah, I remember when you got called up.
And
what a whirlwind that season had to be for you.
I look back now, and I thought at the time, everything's under control. It's not really moving that fast. But as you get older, you realize how fast things were moving, and how lucky I was to be a part of it.
Well, you look at your postseason numbers: 3-0, 472, and I mean, that had to be fun. You're coming up. You're just happy to be in the big leagues, right? And the next thing you know, you're in the postseason and then the World Series.
Yeah, it was it was something that you couldn't have dreamed of. I thought we were supposed to go to the World Series every year. I'm like, hey, this is my first year. We're going, and then it's hard to get to. And the teams we had were, there were some great players on there.
Something special.
And then playing here, selling it out, it was awesome to be a part of it.
Corey Kluber delivers a called strike, and not just rookie year, postseason, World Series, but starting Game 7 of the World Series. And I heard you telling Al the other day that when you were in the moment, you really weren't thinking about all of that.
It wasn't. I wasn't thinking about that. It happened so fast. And when you're young, you feel invincible. Your arm feels good every day. You're throwing as hard as you can. And, nerves when I was young didn't really, come into play. As I got older and you dealt with shoulder problems and you knew you could get rocked a little bit, that's when the mental side came in and it became a little bit harder.
Oh, to be 22, 23 again the rest of your life, huh?
Run through a brick wall for anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Swung on and missed. Kluber got him to chase. He strikes out the side here in the fourth. Jarrett Wright on cue. And Corey Kluber racks up 3 Ks. We'll continue on with the former Indians flamethrower when we come back. As you enjoy a cold one, to stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Tribot top 6-1. Mike Aviles, Drew Stubbs, Michael Bourne due up for Cleveland here in the fourth inning. We're visiting with Jarrett Wright. Okay, so you mentioned that, when you come up at 21, you're a young kid, you're sort of oblivious to all that's going on around you. Did you have a welcome to the big leagues moment where you said, oh, this is a little different up here?
I actually did. A funny story. My first start in actually rookie ball was against the Twins organization, and I'd given up a home run, and I got ragged by my own team, telling me, "Hey, it's not high school anymore. This is pro ball."
Because you were number one pick, I bet. Yeah, you get the money, and those guys get all over you.
I signed late, so they were giving it to me. So I said, "Well, we got to put the next guy down then." So we took care of that. I did that, and then my first start up here, Ron Coomer hit me about that Hyundai sign out there, and Pat Mears was up next, and I figured, why not?
I did it that name, all.
So that's actually the first start, and coming in that way, and that I think too has a part to do with my old man. He was pretty hard nosed back then.
Yeah, well, that was respect. Yeah, I mean that's the game. When your dad played, I know somebody takes you deep, that next guy pretty much automatically goes down, or at least
make them uncomfortable.
They got to move their feet.
They got to lose their toe hold, no doubt about it. Can't do that now.
It doesn't seem that way.
No, you throw inside down, you could be ejected, at least warned after one pitch if they think it's intentional. But it's not like it used to be.
Yeah, and for me, it wasn't too intense. My command wasn't the greatest. I could throw it hard, but that's about it.
They used to call that effectively wild.
Drew Stubbs going to move him over to third on the ground ball out. Aviles 90 feet away now with Michael Bourne coming up.
This is an interleague game. If I recall correctly, when we were in Houston, interleague, you're getting a start and a chance to move a runner over from first base.
Yes.
And go on, tell us what happened.
So I squared around to bunt, and it's so funny. I remember Chris Holt, who threw about 94 with the heavy sinker, kind of ran into my hands and blew up my finger on my hand, and that was my introduction to
it. Broke it, right? You fractured the finger?
It kind of blew out the back and stitches and stuff like that.
Right.
And the funny part about that, the next day I get to my locker, and I had hockey gloves in my locker that I had to wear for a couple days. But that was pretty funny.
Well, it was funny, but I remember people were so upset because you're thinking, interleague play, why does the American League have to let their pitchers hit? Because you go out there, they don't hit all year long, and you've got one of your main starters out there, and you bunt a ball off your finger, and there you go. How much time did you miss? Do you remember?
A few weeks, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you were on the DL?
But we're all such great hitters. You know that.
Well, I know that. Yeah, I just listened to all you say that.
Now Michael Bourne strikes out. He was no match that time for John Neese. 2 down here in the fourth.
Greatest memory as a Cleveland Indian? Is there anyone that stands out?
Even driving in, I have so many great memories from being here and growing up here.
No one.
Yeah, the World Series, obviously, but just seeing all the guys who still work here and walking around in the clubhouse is phenomenal for me.
Yeah.
It's been great, and then to bring my family here and meet those guys and see this side of what I did, because they were, I didn't have a few of them, but even my oldest was very young. It's been phenomenal. Everybody's been great.
Isn't it amazing when you think back on, especially that 97 team, just the talent that was on that club and how long some of those guys played, like Jim Thome, Manny Ramirez?
Yeah, I have, in my little trophy room that's actually moved to the garage now. I used to have its own room, but it doesn't anymore.
Got to add on an addition to the house.
Exactly. Walking through the garage, I still have, the lineup of my first start. And even, looking at some of those names, it kind of freaks me out. The talent we had and the guys who were on that team were, professional guys and amazing talents.
Well, it's always fun to come back and reminisce. And we talked to Chad OJ about it. It had to be fun to see him. I'm sure you haven't seen him in a while.
I haven't seen him in years and years. It's been really good to spend these days with Chad, catching up and seeing what he's doing and seeing who he knows and talking to those guys.
Well, one of these days we'll have to get you down to Florida or Arizona for fantasy camp. For a week, if you can escape being Mr. Mom.
I'm looking for things to do.
Well, we can get
I'll
you.
I'll be there for 2 weeks. I'll be there for the week before stretching and getting ready.
Just don't let him pitch. We don't need any fantasy campers going down.
No, yes, we do. We need young arms. And if you guys get a hit, see you later.
Just don't let me bunt. I'll pitch. Don't let me bunt.
Hey, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, man.
Great to catch up with you. Jared Wright with us.
Hey,
Tribe
awesome.
still on top, 6-1. The wireless receiver only from AT&T Uverse. Rethink possible. And by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. All right, back here at Progressive Field, the Tribe in front 6-1. Rolling on to the fifth inning. Corey Kluber will be facing the bottom third of the Mets lineup. Matt Den Decker, Travis d'Arnaud, and Omar Quintanilla.
Well, last inning, Kluber didn't mess around, did he? He threw 10 pitches, 10 strikes, struck out the side. While we were sitting up here talking with Jarrett.
Yeah, boy, he was carving them up. Okay, so I got a little interesting, well, maybe not interesting, but a little side note.
Maybe not interesting.
Interesting's all the eye of the beholder, right? Den Decker.
Right.
All right. Did he lay into that one? Drew Stubbs makes the catch. No, can't come up with it. And Den Decker will stop at first. And he's 2 for 2 on the night. Boy, he laid into that one.
But go ahead. What was your...
So his last name has the D-E-N. And
right.
You've got d'Arnaud, who's coming up now. He's got the D apostrophe. Den Decker, originally, because of his Dutch heritage, it's a lowercase d, lowercase e, lowercase n.
Okay.
And then Decker. But when he was at the University of Florida, he thought it looked weird that he had 3 lowercase letters and then all capital letters for the rest
Decker.
of his name. So he thought it looked weird, so he had them change it. So it's all caps.
Okay.
But d'Arnaud still has the lowercase d with the apostrophe.
He was concerned on how it looked.
So I didn't like the way it looked. It looks weird to have these 3 little case letters, and then the rest of them are all caps.
I find that interesting.
d'Arnaud has the lowercase d and the apostrophe.
That does look weird.
It does look odd, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But Den Decker has all caps on the back of his jersey.
What's even worse, or I should say that's a little more unique, is that you have 2 guys in the same lineup back-to-back on the same team with that scenario, which you rarely, if ever, see.
There's Den Decker with the all caps. But originally, on his jerseys when he was in college, it had lowercase D-E-N.
I guess his parents allowed him to do that.
The 0-2, low and away.
Well, we've had guys change names. Where were we when the pitcher, we faced him one time here. Was it L.A. or?
Oh, it was in Oakland.
Oakland, and a guy changed his first name. That's when I changed mine.
Santiago Casilla?
There was Casilla to Gutierrez, or there was, and then there was J.C. Gutierrez is who it was.
Oh, Juan Carlos.
Yes. He changed his name, so that forced me to change mine that week.
5 strikeouts for Kluber as he takes care of d'Arnaud. 1 down in the 5th inning. Our Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Index. Since the All-Star break, the Royals and the Indians 1-2 in earned run average. That gives you an idea of just how well this Indian staff has pitched.
Well, we will see Kansas City coming in here on Monday for a 3-game series.
Yeah, Kansas City still very much alive.
They took a thumping last night, though. They gave up 26 hits.
Kipnis to Cabrera, back to first, double play. Second double play turn behind Kluber tonight. Middle of the 5th, 6-1 Indians. Right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, how did the Buckeyes look in Game 2? From what I saw, pretty good. What's Scott Kazmir's secret weapon? And get social with Indians Game Connect. Complete coverage of all today's action involving Ohio sports on FoxSportsOhio.com. Buckeyes just have to hope that everything is okay with Braxton Miller. He left that game with an apparent leg injury. We were just kind of watching it. We couldn't hear the sound of what they were saying, but didn't look real good when he left. Kenny Guyton, however, came in and played tremendous. Jason Kipnis fouls it back out of play. One ball, 2 strikes. Jam job by the mound.
It's going to be interesting.
Quintanilla safe at first. Kipnis just does beat it out for an infield single.
I thought he would. That ball just wasn't hit hard enough, and at shortstop you would have had to come up and, get it and get something on this throw quickly. And Quintanilla did a nice job. And he gets rid of it as quickly as he could, and it is bang, bang, and it goes Kipnis' way. He was a bang-bang play back in the first inning where he was given a sacrifice. The umpire called him safe when he was able to drag that foot across the top of the bag. The umpire didn't see it. So the error went to the pitcher there.
Carlos Santana, big swing, and he hit the catcher again. d'Arnaud might beat him up at some point.
I'll tell you what, he hit him 3 consecutive times last night. He's got to say something.
This might turn into a hockey fight.
I mean, look at the long thing, and he gets him on the mask again. That's the 4th time in 2 at-bats that he lets go of the bat. And the extension on that swing just clips him.
Line to short, caught, and that's going to be a double play as Kipnis was running on the pitch. 2 away. Our in-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Carlos Santana blooped an RBI single in to make it 2-0, and then Ryan Rayburn clobbered a 3-run bases-clearing double. Nick Swisher, his second home run in as many games. 6-1 Indians. They blitzed him early, and Corey Kluber has made it stand up to this point. Yan Gomes singled and scored on the first, fly to left his last time up, takes down low, ball 1. Three balls, no strikes. Caught the corner at the knees. Good pitch. John Neese. 3-1 pitch fouled out of play. Tell you what, this guy showed me something here tonight. He had a 39 pitch first inning. Gave up 5 runs in that first. Had a bad call. Bad play behind him defensively, but other than the Swisher home run in the second, he's pitched very well since then.
And look at that, 39. They never let him settle in. 39 pitch first.
Yan Gomes draws the walk with 2 outs to keep the inning alive.
Well, you can bring your dog out to Progressive Field on Monday. It's the Indians' annual Puppy Palooza event. All vaccinated pets can enjoy the Indians' 7:05 game. It's against the Royals. Visit Indians.com, Puppy Palooza for tickets and all the details. That'll be Monday night.
Cabrera bangs it foul. There's a long fly ball to left field. Back goes Young. Onto the warning track, makes the catch. 5 complete. It's the Indians 6, the Mets 1. Time now for tonight's AT&T trivia question. Two players in Mets history have had 2 or more seasons of 50-plus stolen bases. Who are they? We'll have the answer coming up later in the game. Eric Young Jr., who has 35 steals on the year. Singled in the first inning, sacrifice bunt in the third. Off-speed pitch. Kluber drops it in for a strike. "17 out of 19 first pitch strikes for Corey Kluber, and if you didn't know it,
Right.
it looks like he's never missed a start.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Matt. That he has been out there throwing strikes. He's pounded the strike zone with a lot of fastballs, but it's good to see him. I mean, out of his 59 pitches, 44 have been strikes.
Gave up 4 hits first time through the lineup, only 1 hit second time through.
Well, Kluber, that's a good pitch. That's that little cutter on the outside part of the plate, and it comes back. I like that pitch. I don't see why it was called a ball. Look at, he's sitting off the plate. But boy, oh
Wow.
boy, that's like a perfect pitch. That's a great 0-2 pitch.
Second time tonight that Young has appeared to be struck out but didn't get the call.
Well, you know, you're not going to get every pitch when you go out there. But, I mean, for 0-2, that's a good pitch. You make good pitches. Sometimes you don't get them always called. But it was a quality pitch.
Payoff pitch. Fouled back. Kluber takes a long look in. Now he's ready. The payoff pitch. A little bit low. That's the first walk issued by Kluber tonight, and the Mets have their leadoff man aboard. Great clip of the game from last night, Scott Kazmir. Terry Collins, who watched him pitch when he was with Tampa, said it's the best I've ever seen him.
Well, he couldn't be far off because he was dealing last night. He had a good fastball, a good changeup, and a good slider. And I think Terry Francona is going to make a move here.
Interesting.
He had an 0-2, had him struck out, didn't get the call, and ended up walking him. But, you know, after making his first start, he says, I want to get him out on a positive note.
Just 64 pitches on the night for Kluber. So a few shy of what they talked about letting him go here tonight. Left-hander Rich Hill, today's Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen. We'll be right back with the Indians on top 6-1. 6-1 Indians here in the 6th inning. Mets have their leadoff man aboard. Left-handed hitting Daniel Murphy coming up. Left-hander Rich Hill on for the Tribe. 57th appearance, 1-2, 6.19 ERA.
A very good first start back for Corey Kluber. Throwing strikes, pounding the strike zone, 5 hits in his 5+ innings. I thought he threw the ball very well.
Sure did.
Nice to have him back. And I think the one reason Terry took him out there, why push him? He came back. He pitched very well. You know, let's see how he reacts tomorrow. And they've got a number of guys in that bullpen to get outs. It's not like you're going to put any.
Yeah, the Indians have 21 pitchers on their current roster. Normally a roster is 25 man. They have 21 pitchers.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Swing and a miss. Ball and 2 strikes. Got a piece of that. I mean, just right off the end of the bat. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a one-batter appearance for Hill. You got the Pistano, the right-hander, and Haggett on the lefty. He might go to Pistano for Lutz and back to Haggett on for the left-handed hitting Duda. 1-2 delivery. Strike 3 called. Murphy out looking. 1 down here in the 6th inning.
Well, down at the outside corner with a fastball. After he fouled off that breaking ball that was probably off the plate, he just hits the outside corner with a strike. Good fastball. He gives up on it, and it is called. So a strikeout for Rich Hill.
And he's going to stay with Hill with the right-handed hitting Lutz coming up here. Outside ball 1. Earlier today, New York got whipped again by Boston. So New York now a full game behind the Indians in the wild card standings and could fall further behind if the Indians go on to win tonight.
Well, they had a former Indian.
David Huff got the start,
David
right,
Huff
for New York?
Yeah, against the Boston Red Sox, and got hit around pretty well.
Runner goes, and a good jump. Gomes wouldn't have had a chance anyway. Young with the steal is 36th. He's in the scoring position with 1 out.
You know, good base stealers, it doesn't matter if they get a lead. They're going to steal it with just pure speed and getting a jump, and he went on first movement. It was easy for him. So Gomes with no chance there.
Currently 3rd in the National League.
Having a great second half in that department. The key to stealing the bases is getting on first.
Breaking ball for a strike. 2-2. Yeah, you can't steal first, as they say, but for Eric Young, batting average 256. more importantly for a guy like that, on base percentage wise.
Yeah, that's the thing.
318.
Get on base if he can.
Swung out and missed. They got Lutz to chase. Back-to-back strikeouts for Rich Hill. 2 down here in the 6th inning. Injury report brought to you by Elk & Elk, serious lawyers for serious injuries. Jacoby Ellsbury went back to Boston for an exam on his right foot. That could be problematic because he's having a very good year for Boston.
Well, they're cruising in that division, so there's time for him to maybe get healthy if it's not as serious. They've got at least
they're up 8 right now.
Yeah.
Tampa in action later tonight. They lost again. They've lost 2 straight. Indians will be rooting for Seattle once again here this evening. Inside ball 1 to Lucas Duda. Struck out both times against Corey Kluber tonight. One-0 pitch. Outside, he missed. And now he's 3-0 on the left-handed hitting Duda. Baltimore eked out a 4-3 win over the White Sox this afternoon. So the Indians and the O's neck and neck behind Tampa in that wild card race. Bullseye, 3-1. Duda lays off. Ball 4. 2 on, 2 out. And Terry Francona will make his move now. Today's Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen will welcome back Vinny Pistano. He'll be coming on out of the Tribe's bullpen when we return. His first appearance since he was sent down to the minor leagues. Called back up when the rosters expanded here in September. And he'll be next for the Tribe when we return.
Guarantee yourself a playoff ticket priority with a deposit on 2014 season tickets. Plus, season ticket holders also receive discounts on single game tickets and access to Tribe rewards. Just visit Indians.com if you would like more details.
Vinny Pistano. There are his numbers on the year. Over the last 2 seasons, there has been no more reliable reliever for the Indians than Pistano.
Right.
In 2011, he pitched in 67 games with a 2.32 ERA. Last year, he backed it up with 70 appearances and a 2.57 earned run average. This year, he says it's just been different. It's been a weird year, in his words, and
well, every player's entitled to that. You're not going to have the same type of year in and year out. You're going to have off years or a down year. This may be his, but this is a bullpen that certainly needs Vinny Pistano if they're going to be successful. No doubt about it.
swung on and missed.
I mean, how tough is this guy on right-handers when he's on his game? I mean, the ball explodes out of his hand. There's nothing better than a guy that you get off to a good start and you have maybe an off year and people don't expect you to do anything and you come back and get back to your old self.
Pitch outside, a ball and 2 strikes.
It's a humbling game, isn't it?
Well, for all of us, whether you're a player or broadcaster, it doesn't matter. If you're in baseball, somewhere along the line,
it gets everybody. The minute you think you know what's going on.
One ball, 2 strikes. Popped him up. Good off-speed pitch by Pistano, and Turner lucky that got out of play, so he lives to see another pitch. I think for Pistano, and now look, to his credit, Vinny hasn't gone around and complained to the media about this or that or made excuses. He's manned up and said, look, I haven't gotten it done. And, you know, he's kind of gone to the whole, I'm looking in the mirror, I'm going to make the changes I need to make. But I go back to, he's maybe another guy who did not benefit from the WBC. I'm not going to say it was the culprit, but he certainly did not benefit from that experience physically. There's a drive, deep center field. Bourne looking up. It is off the wall, high off the fence. Young scores. Duda around third. He's coming home. Here's the throw, and he is safe barely. He scores standing. But Justin Turner with a 2-out, 2-run double for the Mets. And all of a sudden they close the gap to 6-3.
Tell you what, this kid Turner has some pop in his bat. He got that ball, and it goes off the left center field wall. So a 2-out, 2-run double, and that's a bad pitch. He elevated that fastball. He left it middle of the plate, and you pay for it. And right there, he had him down in the count. He just couldn't put him away. As you'll see, the second run cross home plate. So it is now a 6-3 ball game. Both the runs coming in were on via the walk.
Now Juan Lagares looks at a ball outside. Lagares coming in with a career-best 11-game hitting streak. So far tonight, a tapper back to the mound and a strikeout. 1-1 to count. Hit in the hole. Kipnis can't get to it. They're going to wave Turner home. Throw is a little bit offline, and Turner beats the tag. And now it's a 2-run game as Lagares extends his hitting streak to 12 games. And back-to-back 2-out RBI hits for the New York Mets, and they've scored 3 times here in the 6th inning.
They certainly did. There's a slider from Pistano, and this guy just stayed on it, goes the other way, and it gets it past Kipnis into right field. They're going to be aggressive and wave him home, and he comes in and beats the tag. So Turner slides in. That's the 4th run in the ball game, and Vinny Pastano is done on his 2 hitters. He gave up a double and a single, and that is going to do it.
Left-hander Nick Hagedorn coming on when we come back. Fox Sports 1 is available on all TV providers. Go to foxsports1.com to find out what channel Fox Sports 1 is on in your area. Well, a new ball game here, 6-4. The Indians lead down to a couple of runs as the Mets have rallied for 3 here in the 6th. Left-hander Nick Hagedorn, 31st appearance of the year. Bryant Shaw, right-hander, up in the Tribe bullpen. Matt Den Decker, left-handed hitter, will be the batter here. Den Decker has hit the ball hard both times up tonight. He's 2 for 2. The first run scored in the inning charged to Corey Kluber, the second to Rich Hill, the third to Vinny Pastano, and he's responsible for the runner at first base. Good fastball, and he threw it by him. 0-1.
Well, the Mets able to do it with 2 outs. But anytime you give free bases in an inning, it finds a way to come back and bite you eventually.
Yeah, the 2 walks both come around to score. But Hagedorn, 2 quick strikes on Den Decker. There's Corey Kluber. The 0-2. Wow. Any idea what was wrong with that?
No. Let's take a look at it. I don't know.
Guess he thought it was high. Runner goes, swing and a miss. The inning is over. Hagedorn gets the strikeout, but the Mets get 3 on the board. They close to within 6-4.
Dog night. Kansas City Royals will be in town. Log on to Indians.com and get your tickets.
Ryan Rayburn will lead off the bottom of the 6th for the Indians. Low ball 1. Rayburn, a 3-run double in the first. Out on strikes his last time up. John Neese gave up 5 runs in the first inning. A solo homer in the second. Since then, 3 shutout innings. He's at 95, 96 pitches now on the night. He walks Rayburn. The Indians have their leadoff man aboard.
It's only his second walk today.
Ryan Rayburn's going to be lifted for a pinch runner, but while that happens, in less than 250 at-bats, Ryan Rayburn, Eric Chavez, Luke Scott have all been very productive for their clubs. Matt Carson has been sort of the designated pinch runner for Ryan Rayburn.
Yeah, he goes
or
in
Jason
defensively.
Kubel,
right?
Depending on who's in the ball game. Mike Aviles is 2 for 2. He has singled and he has doubled. He was going to bunt the runner over, but he fouls it off. Aviles drives one to deep center. Den Decker on the move. He'll make the catch. And then Carson will retreat to first, 1 away.
really struggled in that first inning when the Indians put 5 on the board, 39 pitches, and they had 6 hits in that inning.
Yeah, he didn't walk anybody.
No, he didn't walk anybody. They have 3 hits since that, although the second it was a solo home run by Swisher. They had the leadoff double by Aviles back in the 4th and the leadoff single by Kipnis in the 5th. But he got a double play ball in the 5th, so, this guy hung in there. And, has given his manager a chance. He didn't have to go start burning that bullpen in the first inning, even though he gave up 5. In the National League, if we were in their ballpark, he might already pinch hit for him.
Yeah, good point.
You know what I mean? Here, that's the difference in the American and the National League, where you can keep your pitcher out there because he doesn't have to go up and hit, and you don't have to try and score with him hitting.
And see, this is where the American League really never gets any kind of a benefit from the interleague play. The National League team can benefit in a scenario like this, but name me a situation where the American League benefits from playing in the National League park.
Only if you have a pitcher that can hit. You know what I mean? Or he may go deep or something like that. That's the only thing I could think of.
Swung on and missed. It's 2-2.
They don't take batting practice, and they don't do that stuff that the National League pitchers do every day before a game.
Stubbs is out looking. Nice with his 4th strikeout of the night. 2 down here in the 6th inning, and we'll go back to the Hyundai Studios for an in-game update with Al Pawlowski.
Hey, Matt, Rick, after last night's Tigers' big win over Kansas City, Detroit once again has the lead this evening. It's 1-0. Prince Fielder, an RBI base hit here in the first inning. That's been it thus far. They're in the bottom of the 3rd. Justin Verlander on the hill for the Tigers. Duffy's on the hill for the Royals. Matt?
All right, thanks a lot, Al. Here's Michael Bourne. 1 for 3 on the night. Bourne singled, stole a base, and scored in the first. Since then, he's popped up. And then he struck out in a key at bat in that 4th inning when Aviles had the leadoff double. He moved to 3rd on a ground out. But then Stubbs struck out. He chased a couple of balls that might have been in the other batter's box from Nice. One ball, 2 strikes. 5 years ago during spring training, Jonathan Nice just happened to be reading a book about Sandy Koufax. And then one of the guys in his organization arranged a meeting between the two of them, and he got to meet Sandy Koufax. And Koufax showed him his grip on the curveball, and Nice said it was actually very similar to the way I grip mine. It was a very good meeting between the two, and Jonathan Nice, impressive outside of that first inning here tonight. Through 6-4 Cleveland. Ball is brought to you by Panini's with 18 locations in Northeast Ohio and by Levin. Beautiful night here at the ballpark as you get a look from our Panini cam, brought to you by Panini's Bar and Grill. Indians are going to go to the bullpen. Brian Shaw. He will be the 5th Indians pitcher to work tonight. It'll be his 60th appearance on the season. He's 3-3 with a 3.94 ERA, and he's got Travis d'Arnaud, Omar Quintanilla, and Eric Young due up for the Mets. Matt Carson stays in the ballgame in left field. And a fastball in there for strike one. I mentioned before the Indians have 21 pitchers on their current roster, thanks to the expanded rosters here in the month of September. And Mets manager Terry Collins was asked about all of the arms the Indians have on their roster right now. He said they have more relievers than we have hitters.
That's true.
High heater, he lays off, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Left-hander Mark Zepchinski, right-hander Cody Allen up for the Tribe pin. The 1-2 to d'Arnaud. Back out of play. Hit hard to third, right there, Aviles. Throws him out, 1 down. All right, let's get the answer to the AT&T trivia question right now. The Mets base stealers, 50 or more.
2 or more seasons.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Jose Reyes and Mookie Wilson. Omar Quintanilla, 1 for 2 on the night. Swung on and missed. And the kill.
Man, helped him out there, huh?
1 ball, 1 strike. I was surprised the first pitch wasn't called a strike.
Watch this. They're sitting away. He throws this one down and in. I mean,
Wow.
that wasn't even close, and he swung at it. You talk about helping him out. You take it instead of sitting in a 2-0 count.
A little bit high. 2 balls and a strike. Quintanilla banged into a double play that ended the 5th inning. 1 of 2 double plays the Mets have hit into tonight. Two balls, 2 strikes. Shaw ready with the 2-2. And a bouncer towards second. Diving stop by Kipnis. Gets up, but he can't find the handle. And Quintanilla went into first with a head-first slide. And he's aboard with a base hit here in the 7th inning.
Well, Jason just he knew where the ball was, and then the second time he goes to pick it up, it's right on him. He sees it, picks it up, and he didn't pick it up. He dropped it, so that's what I still think he had a chance if he picks it up with the bare hand cleanly to get him at first base. But when that didn't happen, he was going to be safe.
One on, one out for Eric Young. He has singled and walked and scored a run. Nubs it foul. Broken bat, bouncer towards second. Kipnis goes to second. They'll get the force there for out number 2. And we'll go downstairs to Katie with them.
Well, Matt, we're going to wrap up this series with the Mets tomorrow. Danny Salazar will be on the mound, and it's a perfect day to bring the whole family out. It's KeyBank Kids Fun Day tomorrow. Afterwards, the kids can run the bases, sponsored by the Cleveland Clinic. You can get your tickets now at Indians.com. Matt, Rick, back up to you guys.
Thanks, Katie. With 2 down here in the 7th inning, Terry Francona is going to go back to his bullpen. We'll go to the left-hander, Mark Zepchinski, when we come back. Check out Fox Sports Live as Jay Onright, Dan O'Toole, Donovan McNabb, Gary Payton, Andy Roddick, and Carissa Thompson bring you all you need to know about the world of sports. Fox Sports Live airs nightly on Fox Sports 1. Mark Zepchinski on here in the 7th inning with 2 down. 15th appearance since coming over to the Indians. And he'll be facing the left-handed hitting Daniel Murphy, 0 for 3 on the night.
Well, this is where it started back in the 6th inning, where Rich Hill matched up with him. He was able to strike him out. So he's bringing in another lefty.
In the dirt, and a nice stop by Gomes. Over 2 against this left-hander, Mark Zepchinski. Right back to him. Zevchinski will flip it to first. The inning is over. Stretch time now here at Progressive Field with the Indians in front by a score of 6-4. Seventh inning stretch brought to you by Spitzer Auto World. Life is hard. Buying a car shouldn't be. The Indians lead at 6-4 as we go to the bottom of the seventh inning. And New York goes to their bullpen for the first time tonight.
And Nice, I'll tell you what, he showed me something today. After giving up 5 in the first, he ended up getting 6 innings and did overall a pretty nice job.
Well, he gave up 6 hits in the first and only 3 the rest of the way. Scott Atchison, formerly of the Boston Red Sox, on the pitch now for the Mets. And Nick Swisher takes ball 1 outside. Swish 2 for 3 tonight. An RBI double in the first, a homer in the second. Outside again, 2-0. And the 2-1 is a little low. 3 balls and a strike. When the Indians were cruising along at 6-1, you didn't think they'd need much more, but a couple of insurance runs wouldn't hurt now. As promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Last night, Nick Swisher with the bases loaded delivered in a big way.
Oh, he sure did. 1 swing of the bat, 4 runs. That gave him 8 on the night, and he comes back today. Hits himself a solo shot in the second inning for number 17.
That gives the Indians 3 players now with 17 homers. Swisher, Kipnis, and Santana. Pitch outside, ball 1. Kipnis a single, an infield hustle single, his last time up in the 5th inning. Paints the outside corner, and it's 1-1. Out of play. Back to even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Another double play ball here, potentially. 4-6. No, they pulled him off the bag. And Duda's attempt at a swipe tag came up empty. So Kipnis aboard with 1 out here in the 7th.
That was a long backhanded flip to Quintanilla where he had to grab the ball and then try and throw it, and he was offline. I mean, this is a double play ball. He gets it to him. It was a tough feed to begin with, but that's a double play that should be turned right there. Maybe he should have spun to flip that ball, but Murphy felt he could give the long backhanded throw. It just didn't work out, and it wasn't a good feed.
Carlos Santana 1 for 3 tonight. Last time up, Santana hit a line drive with Kipnis running on the pitch that resulted in a double play. Santana's bloop hit in the first gave him his 63rd RBI on the year. One ball, 1 strike. And now Santana gets ahead, 2 balls and a strike.
Remember, Santana has been wearing Darno out behind the plate with the extended swing.
I think it's maybe more so from the other side of the plate.
Yes, from the right side of the plate is right. Last night he did it.
This is in the foul territory and just out of reach of Lagares, who gave it a look.
You know, last night it was 3 straight. Look there's one on top of the helmet, the first swing. But in the same at-bat, he comes back again and gets the catcher. And he's going to do it one more time. And that's tonight. Welcome back, my friend. Well, we're looking to see if this happens from this side of the plate, and so far it hasn't.
Drilled left center field. Dendecker long run. He'll make the catch. And Kipnis will have to retreat to first.
Good swing. Drove the ball to center field and put a nice swing on it. Just ran it down.
Throw down to second base, not even close. Kipnis gets up, but he'll stay right there. Jason, with his 25th stolen base of the year, leads the club in that category. Another short hop throw by Narno. This one not even close, though.
No, it was a high breaking ball, but Kipnis goes in. Yeah, that was really short hopped. No chance for Murphy there.
Breaking ball in there for a strike. Found right back. That landed square in the mask of Darno. Once again, it's the catcher that gets you.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it last night, but that ball just a little bit higher than where Gomes likes it.
Scott Atchison is one of those guys, and there are a number of them. He's a story in perseverance. He started the year 37 years old on opening day with just a few days shy of 4 years Major League service time at 37 years old. Spent a couple of years pitching in Japan, a lot of time in the minor leagues. Runner goes for third. Kipnis has an easy steal there. That's the old adage. If you're going to go, make sure you can take it easily. And with 2 down, it's not really a huge advantage unless he uncorks a wild pitch, obviously.
Well, you can see the middle infielders. There's 2 outs. They're waiting for their pitcher to get the hitter. They're not even concerned about Kipnis. Now that just makes the defense make a play if it's a ground ball.
Payoff pitch in the dirt. So Gomes at first, Kipnis at third with 2 down, and Asdrubal Cabrera will be the batter. This would be a great time for Asdrubal Cabrera to break out of an 0 for 19 slump. Called a ball. I don't know. 1 ball, 1 strike. Another look. Cabrera.
Well, I'll tell you what, hitters have caught a lot of breaks tonight with this umpire behind the plate.
2 balls and a strike.
He's been very kind to hitters.
Yeah.
And in turn, what that does, Matt, when they you're not calling those pitches that close, they don't have to swing the bat to be as aggressive.
Well, it forces the pitcher to maybe think about, I've got to put that on the plate.
Right. That's a tough job as a pitcher.
There's a long drive, but hooking inside the pole. A home run for Cabrera. That's the way you snap out of an 0 for 19 slump. A 2-out, 3-run homer just inside the pole down the right field line, and the Indians now lead it 9-4.
Well, they're doing the same thing that the Mets did back in the 6th inning. A couple of walks, and then they end up scoring with 2 outs, and Cabrera comes back and gets a ball on the inner part of the plate that's down, and he golfs it down the line. Is it going to stay fair? We don't know. It does. Stays inside the line. Cabrera, his 10th home run, give him 3 RBIs. It's now a 9-4 game.
And now Matt Carson with an opposite field single into right field to keep the inning alive. So the crooked number big for the Indians tonight. A 5-run first and now a 3-run seventh for Terry Francona's gang and Asdrubal Cabrera, who's had one of those years where even when he's hit balls hard, they've been right at people.
Yeah, but that has to feel good right there
No
with
doubt.
2 outs.
Nine runs on 11 hits now for the Indians. Maybe a change of plans for Mickey Callaway and company now that the Indians lead by 5 heading into the 8th inning of play. Runner goes. No throw. Matt Carson with a steal. Avila's chases one. The inning is over. But Asdrubal Cabrera gives the Indians a little breathing room with a 3-run smash. Be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. Hope to have you with us tomorrow when the Indians and the New York Mets wrap up this series right here on Sports Time Ohio, and then Bruce Drennan we'll be kicking off our Sunday night lineup. He'll be talking Browns in the home opener at 7 o'clock, followed by the Golf Zone with Jimmy Hanlon at 9 right here on Sports Time Ohio. Swing and a miss by Zach Lutz. He's 0 for 3 on the night. A little bit outside. Big chopper to short. And Asdrubal Cabrera will throw him out, 1 away. Looking back at our keys to the game, courtesy of Akron Children's Hospital. Corey Kluber did a nice job. It was good to get him back on the mound and back in the starting rotation. I'm sure he could have gone deeper into the game, but I think they were looking at it like, hey, first time back, let's not overdo it.
Satisfied for game one back.
And, hey, 5 runs in the first, you'll take that every time. Think he went too far? He did. No balls, 2 strikes. Swung on and missed. He strikes him out. Gomes just has to find the handle. 2 down. Well, Corey Kluber hadn't started since August the 5th. Hadn't pitched, period, since August the 5th. But he came out tonight, and he was sharp right from the get-go, really. He gave up 4 hits first time through the lineup. Second time through, only 1, and he struck out 4 batters. And then third time through the lineup, he walked the first guy faced, and that was it for the night. But certainly a very good outing for Corey Kluber.
Yes, sir.
Mark Zepchinski's night is over after he faces 3 batters, retired all 3, and we've got a timeout for another pitching change. Two down here in the 8th inning. The Indians on top 9-4. Carlos Carrasco going to get some work out of the bullpen. That's been his role of late, and he's done a nice job with it.
Yeah, he has. The 5th time he'll be coming out of the bullpen. Coming on to face a guy that has swung the bat well in this series, Justin Turner. Drove in a pair of runs back in the 6th inning with 2 outs and got him going, and then came around to score. He's also scored 2 runs today, so he's 2 for 3.
4 appearances as a reliever. He has yet to allow an earned run. So it's a role that has suited him very well. And some of those appearances, Rick, as you know, have been long relief where he's pitched multiple innings and he's done a very good job. Of course, when you've got a guy who's been a starter, it's easy for him maybe to come out of the bullpen and give you multiple innings.
Yeah, because his arm is stretched out. You don't have to worry about pitch count like you would with just your normal reliever you're going to use every day. And now, you know, and maybe Carlos can learn a little something. Coming out, you throw strikes, he gets a start and he has a tendency to worry too much, when you have 5 days in advance. Some guys relish the thought of going out there and getting on a routine. For some strange reason, it doesn't seem like he does.
He wouldn't be the first guy to go to the bullpen, figure some stuff out, and then take that and go back into the rotation and have success.
No, it wouldn't be the first guy. It wouldn't be the first guy either to stay in the bullpen and be very successful.
Left field, back goes Carson. Onto the track. The inning is over. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. 9-4 Cleveland. Stay tuned for Indians Live. Coming up next here on Sports Time Ohio, brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. The highlights, interviews, and a whole lot more straight ahead. Indians on top 9-4 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. New York goes back to their bullpen. Third pitcher of the night will be right-hander David Aardsma.
Yeah, he came into last night's ball game, went a third of an inning, gave up a hit and a couple of runs. Back into this one. He's going to get Stubbs and then back up to the top of the lineup. Bourne and Swisher due up.
Inside corner, a strike. Stubbs 0 for 3 on the night. Low and away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Series wraps up tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock start. Right here on Sports Time Ohio, Danny Salazar will go up against Daisuke Matsuzaka. Stubbs strikes out, 1 away. In-game box score brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers. Indians jumped him early with 5 runs on 6 hits in the first inning. And Swisher added a solo homer in the second. And then the Indians with a big 3-run homer from Cabrera in the 7th. Nice to see the offense getting healthy here on this homestand.
They'll score early. That's been the fun part of it. You know, getting into the thing they did earlier in the year that they had a lot of success doing.
Boston hammered New York earlier today, 13-9. That goes in the Tribe's favor as far as the wild card is concerned. Baltimore did win. They beat Chicago, so they'll stay neck and neck with the Tribe. We'll wait and see what happens with Tampa later tonight against Seattle. Slicing foul out of play. Nick Swisher made the comment after last night's ball game, but just, hey, players are human. They feed off the energy in the ballpark, and when you've got good crowd on hand, players definitely take notice of that, and they can feed off that energy. And those are going to be 3 very big games coming up next week with Kansas City.
Yes, they are. Every game, every series right now, if you're looking for the playoffs, is big. It doesn't matter what team comes in. You've got to take care of your own business, and then you can scoreboard watch.
And then just take into the fact that the home games are dwindling. There aren't many left. You got these 3 with Kansas City. And after the next road trip, you got 4 at home with Houston, couple with the White Sox, and that's it.
Yes.
Bourne lifts one to right field. Back goes Lagares. He'll make the catch. 2 down. So hope to see you out here on the remaining games on this homestand as the Indians continue to fight and scratch and claw for a potential postseason spot this year. Nick Swisher's had a good night. An RBI double and scored in the first. Solo homer in the second. Grand slam last night. And he's starting to get hot. It would be great to see maybe Asdrubal Cabrera, if that 3-run homer can get him going. Those are 2 important bats in this lineup.
You're going to need everybody coming down the stretch. You really will. Everybody in the right frame of mind, everybody hitting, and everybody doing their thing.
In for a strike. Nothing into the count. Ardsma takes a look in. Swisher eyes him up. Swung out and missed. The inning is over. We'll go to the 9th. 9-4 Cleveland. Stay tuned for Indians Live. Brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. It's coming up next right here on Sports Time Ohio. Ninth inning here at Progressive Field. Carlos Carrasco got the final out of the eighth inning. He'll stay on to pitch the ninth. Jose Ramirez takes over at second base defensively. As the Indians are 3 outs away from taking the series, winning the first two, and a chance for a sweep. Running their win streak to 4 in a row and moving to 11 games over 500. And all of the good trimmings that come with that. They stay right there in the wild card hunt, keep the pressure on Tampa Bay, who's getting ready to take on Seattle in about 10, 15 minutes or so. Pitch in for a strike. Lon Lagares extended his hitting streak to 12 in a row with an RBI single with 2 outs in the 6th inning. That brought home the 4th and final run for the Mets in this game. Big bouncer towards second. Here's Jose Ramirez just into the game. 1 away. Matt Dendecker will come up now. 2 for 3 on the night, couple of base hits. Big curveball missed. Out of play. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Carrasco the line on the 1-2. Weak bouncer to first. Swisher will go himself, 2 down. Tell you one thing that you cannot take away from this Indians club, this particular team. It is maybe one of the most resilient teams I've seen in a long time. How many times this year have you watched them play and say, this is going to be too much to overcome. They won't bounce back from this.
They've always
and yet they
back.
always have an answer.
They've got a lot of character.
You look at that last road trip, as much as was built up for it, and the players all knew how important those games were, and it was not a good road trip. But they won the final game in Detroit. They came home, took care of business, won the series from Baltimore. Now a chance to sweep the Mets. I mean, they went from, maybe all hope is lost just 6 days ago to, look out, here they are right back in it again.
Being a game and a half out of the wild card spot right now if they can finish this off. And the Mets are down to their last 2 strikes.
Carrasco with a 1-1. Darno takes it's down low. High fly ball, center field. Michael Bourne says, I'll take it. He does. The Mets go 1-2-3, and the Indians have won their 4th straight. Winners in 5 of their last 6. 11 games over the 500 mark and just a game and a half out of the wild card spot at the moment. Corey Kluber gets the win in his return to the starting rotation tonight. He's 8-5. The loss to John Neese. He drops to 6-7. It's his first loss since he came off the DL in the middle of August. Terry Francona's bunch continues to grind away and come up with victories. 9-4 the final score tonight. Our KeyBank Key Play of